Good afternoon, Star Wars fans. This is B Silklu here, um, preparing another tournament report, not on one of our majors, but wanted to talk a little bit about this cube event that I ran for our most recent Alderaan League play. It was a format that we weren't very familiar with. I'm not sure you guys are either, so I wanted to at least talk with you guys about what we did and share some of the games and how they kind of turned out. So, a little bit of background: we're in League Event 4 of the Alderaan League that I'm running this year. We've been doing mostly online open gameplay and one in-person California states. But some of the folks have kind of expressed like, hey, could we do like maybe a different format just to kind of mix it up a little bit? There's some folks in the play group that are a little more into playing sealed or draft and instead of just playing directly open. So I was poking around on that and I found this this thing that exists directly on the Players Committee homepage about the Watto's Cube event, Watto's Chance Cube. And so after kind of reading through this, I decided that I was gonna give it a try. There's two different flavors of this cube, but one of them is either with objectives or without objectives. And so I actually chose the objectives one just to kind of see what would come of it. So when you sign up for this event, just like any other sealed event, you'll get a handful of like cube packs for which you can build your 45 card deck. And then you also get two, because I selected the objective pack version, you get two different objectives that have 10 cards from that objective to kind of make that theme of the objective playable, and then you mix it up with all your cube cards. And so there's like a combination, so you get two objectives per side and then a whole mess of other cards of which to build your 45 card deck. It was an interesting idea and kind of this combination of a little bit of sealed, so you got to play with what you got, but a little bit of deck building because you have to build a decent deck out of it or two decks out of it to kind of go from there. So I am going to pull up what I got. So this right here is the dark side that I got for the Watto's event. So the objectives that I opened was a Watto pack. And then a Court of the Vile Gangster pack. And so, for example, like I don't remember all of them, but like Watto came with the two junkyard sites, a couple of Wattos, I think Mustafar and the bridge, and probably the Chance Cube. Similarly, Court came with the sites you would need, Scum and Villainy, Now Hutta, Jabba's Haven, those kinds of things. And then I opened my 10 other packs of randomly distributed cards. And this was the deck that I had to go to build my 45 cards. And so I was kind of looking in there. There's a broad mix of space and ground, and both these objectives kind of lean very heavily into aliens. And you know, Court's pretty viable. You generate pings, you have your own sites, you could pull ships and all of that, but Scum and Villainy is really dependent on having all aliens or independent starships. And as you can see, I got a lot of other kind of random smattering of cards. So trying to keep Scum online was probably going to be a little tough. And so what I did though is I did look at the Watto objective, and I mean, it would be on brand to play Watto during the Watto's Cube event. And so, there's a couple of Wattos. I had gotten a barrier, some really good effects that can probably kind of set all this together. And so this is what I ended up settling on for the Watto event. So remember, as a reminder, 45 card decks. There are not shields in this, so some of the strategies can get a little broken, as you'll see of some of the things that kind of go in there. But so with that in mind, and this not being a card pool, like I was like, well, how about I do Watto and a bunch of small 2-drops, because the idea would be you're going to want to set up fast. You're going to want to flip your objective on your very first turn, do those 2 damage immediately because the dark side will go first and light side won't have 2 force saved. And so my thought was, Watto's for free, a 2-drop down, do your damage, bing, done. And then maybe you consolidate the two guys if you can drop someone on the second turn, and then kind of keep that going from there. The damage output over time is not going to be great, but in a 45 card deck environment, you're probably doing enough damage to, you know, really wear out the opponent before they can do anything. And so then if they do end up saving force for you, I threw a couple of these big blizzard walkers in here and a Mara Jade, so I could get a big thing down for free. Decided to just ignore space entirely. Just wanted to do damage on the ground. So doing damage on the ground with the Watto objective, the drains, perhaps 2 drains of 1 at the 2 sites, and then I did put in You'll Be Dead in here. I had gotten 2 blasters, so I was like, well, if it works out that I can get a blaster on a character too, um, I can up my damage and make it even harder for an opponent to race me. So I decided to go with You'll Be Dead and Wipe as my 2 effects. Didn't even want to bother starting the other ones because then it became kind of a wasted card slot, I felt. I did think this whole thing could be a little clunky because both of these need warriors to put on. Watto's not a warrior, and not all the 2 drops I had were going to be warriors, so it may not work out well. Plus, the Naboo Blaster here is terrible. It costs force to deploy and fire, and it only hits a character, doesn't even choose or forfeit or anything like that. So it would really only be good if I can get it on a character for the You'll Be Dead. I don't want it for the weapon shot. So that was kind of why I settled on a bunch of Wattos, a bunch of small 2 drops, maybe a Jabba, maybe a Mara Jade. Let's see what happens. On the other side of the Force, I got 2 objective packs. I got a Hidden Base objective and I got a Diplo objective. Diplo seemed kind of interesting. You got the Tantive and you'd gotten the data tapes and Chandrilla and Mon Mothma and all this sort of things. And I got a bunch of small characters that kind of went along with it, with a couple of EPPs. And so that was the first thing I was looking at because it seems kind of nice, and you can get this thing moving. There's a Tatooine celebration. But then I kind of thought about it a little more. With these 45 card decks, I feel like you're gonna have to do damage really fast, and you're also going to need to be careful about how many cards you put on the table. And Diplo really benefits from having all those cards that can spread on the ground and draw on their own to kind of add to the battle destiny. So it really felt like it was going to be hard to set up. Even if I can get it going, maybe it's too slow, and then you also don't have all the defensive cards that you would want. I mean, I did get a dodge, but usually you're looking for a little more tuned in stuff for this to work. So then I went back and was like, well, then how about I do the hidden base route? I got all these systems for hidden base. I got a new secret base to pull systems and help me draw cards. And then I also got that Chandrilla as part of it with Mon Mothma. So I thought maybe I can get a really quick flip out of it because I can pull from the objective. I can pull from a new sacred base. Maybe I open hand a system. Maybe I can get Mon Mothma down and deploy Chandrilla directly. And so that was kind of what I was thinking. And if I run into an opponent Hidden Base is one of those decks. If you run into an opponent that doesn't really have a way of dealing with it, it can really get out of hand. The ships though were a little bit awkward. I do have squadron assignments and I do have a new secret base. And then I also went with strike planning because I can get me Mon Mothma and then get me Leia Organa, which I wasn't expecting to go to the ground a lot, but it could be a really good card on the ground if I need to, as well as like the General Kenobi. We played these decks before, and those high immunity main characters are very challenging to deal with. Your destinies aren't great. So if you draw a battle destiny, you may not even clear them, or even hit them with a weapon, just because your destinies just aren't as tuned in a deck like this. So I thought a couple cards on the ground, but I'll only go to the ground if I have to. I don't even have a battleground site in here. It's all systems and the rendezvous point. So with the ship package though, I got an R2 in Red 5, but no Luke, so I can't match him up, but I put it in here because it's another starfighter and it's a 7. Same thing with the Red 6. Tantive I thought was going to be pretty helpful, as well as the 2 Falcons. So I didn't get a Han Solo in here, but I did get a Lando, and I got 2 Chewies. Those are all matching pilots for different versions of the Falcon. So I thought, well, I could at least get some of those out. with this kind of deck, I don't think you need to flood the board with ships to win the game. And so I was going to see if I could just get a ship out, drain. Maybe I can use those X-Wing laser cannons and then shoot down a ship. But then otherwise, it's a handful of defensive interrupts. I could be worse for damage prevention. And then there's a couple other cards in here that they're in there just because they're the high destiny cards, like the Naboo Security Officer Blaster is completely useless in this deck, except it's a 5. Same thing with Yarna, and they win this round. I was just trying to find destinies to kind of round out the deck and see kind of where it goes from there. So I got my 6 games all queued up, and I'll kind of just try and run through them really quick and just kind of show you guys what it was like to kind of get you a feel for the format. Again, it's not shielded, but there is some deck building to it. So I think we were really curious to see, like, what are we going to find out of this? How are the games going to be? Are they going to be familiar? Are they going to feel different? So I am just going to start showing my games. So this one here, I am the hidden base player, and I'm playing Bring 'em Before Me, which on its face seems really tough because, again, I don't have a Luke in the deck. So, I mean, I'm playing hidden base against Bring 'em with no Luke. I mean, this is basically Matt Sokol all over again. But at the same time, he's not going to have the same ability to get a Vader on the table super easily. So maybe I can just get out there fast. I can cancel those drains. I do know that I'll be eating that Your Destiny damage, but maybe that'll be enough. So I'm going to speed this up just a little bit, but I open hand 2 systems, and then I pull my characters. And so this is kind of like off to a great start. He puts the Emperor down first turn at the Dark Forest, threatening a drain at 2 right off the bat. But I do get 2 systems down right away. I realized I'd activated my other 2, so I had to just draw up to find them. I get drained for 2 at the forest clearing and lose 2 random cards I don't need for my hand. Of course, need to be careful about top decking a hidden base because you can't lose a key system. And then he just draws up. But I do know if I can get a ship down this system and flip that I can, or I can flip this turn, but getting a ship down would allow me to cancel that drain at 2. And so I flash Falcon for Lando to the rendezvous point, and then I put Mon Mothma on there just for some extra forfeit, and then move to free to Endor and draw a couple cards, and I believe I flip. Yep. So now that drain of 2 at the site isn't going to do any damage because I can cancel it. So now he's going to just have to draw up again. The other thing that I had thrown in the deck is I had gotten a couple of spies. Blount in my hand, and then I think there was the 5s, the clone card. And so my initial thought was, hey, I could also go to some non-battlegrounds if the game gets a little spread out. And so I believe that's what I do this turn right now, or maybe I wait. But then I go with Blount directly to that site along with Kanan. So I don't know where that Vader's going to be, but now I am threatening a drain of 2 at his own site. And then still turning off the damage at the forest clearing. And so now a Darth Vader with lightsaber comes down. Not a great situation, but that is why I put 2 characters down. I also know he's only going to have a handful of Vaders, and you need him to be at a battleground site to draw destiny, or to do damage for your destiny. But I could like strand him there, but I just decide, hey, how about I just kill him off? He only has so many. He doesn't have a way of recurring his Vaders. And so I got kind of cleared one of those out, and he hasn't really advanced his board state since. So now I'm down to draining at the system, and then I get an R2 with the Maywas down. And an X-Wing laser cannons. Thought maybe there's going to be there could be some starfighters down there that I could shoot down, and then also I have the rebel artillery in hand to go with that. So okay, so he does get another Vader down with a saber to that same system. So I can drain for a couple here, and I will be able to cancel drains, but I'm going to be taking that damage to your destiny. But fortunately, I have the it could be worse in hand to reduce that damage. And so I'm fearing this a lot less. So pay the 3 to not take any damage from that. And so, and then, okay, he decides to come to space. I still have enough force save to shoot him down, but then he puts Mithron and Nudo in there, which keeps me from um, letting weapon destinies go through. So that that space boat's gonna be a little safe in space, but I am gonna be pretty far ahead. I'm doing a lot of damage, and so it's gonna keep turning that off until he probes. But one thing I had done with Melos allows you to put cards down. I didn't know that. I know the Watcher Step players knew this, but I was able to stack cards on the ground. I think I had stacked a 6/7 and a blank, so I knew that I could. That's why I didn't activate everything. I knew I could hit the Emperor, or I assumed I could hit the Emperor with the Obi and then kill Vader with attrition. Or no, I do the other way around. I just want to get rid of the Vader. Um, but he does have close call. But I think I was still okay. I think I didn't know the 6 was there. But I figured with a 7 down, I would have enough to do all that. But just again, getting rid of the Vaders is going to help my damage potential so much. He's swinging at me at the Dark Jedi lightsaber. I don't care because it doesn't reduce attrition. And I know I'm drawing high to. I don't think I'm losing to your destiny, and so I was less concerned about that. If it was a forfeit reducing saber, I might have cared. Oh, I do not win the battle, but I did kill the Vader, which was what I really wanted to do, and kill the saber. So I do lose a force to your destiny, and then lose that, and then the Vader goes lost. But then until he flips, I can still cancel both those drains. And I'm putting cards back down with Melos again. So I'll cancel the drains again. And then he's just moving to try and probe the base before I do too much damage. And here again, I'm putting cards back down. But he's very low on cards at this point, so his ability to do anything on the board is going to be severely reduced. And one thing I had not thought about yet, but I did find out in another game, was using it could be worse. I could loop it to keep saving the damage. But I think I just went for the shot here. I think I'd stacked enough that I knew I could shoot the Emperor. Or I had a good shot at it, I think is what it was. 5 and 1. That is not going to hit him, but then I think that means I have a 6 down, which is going to, he's going to be down a lot in power. So he's going to have to lose the Emperor. Also knowing I have a dodge in hand, I have a Warrior's Courage, and an Antilles Maneuver if he does decide to go after me on the ground. But he's got so little force and so few cards in hand that it just didn't seem viable. But he does get through and probe my base. And he comes down with Snoke. Does do a damage there. But then that Warrior's Courage is going to add 2 Destiny for Leia, so I'm likely winning the battle. Go 4, 6, and 1. So I do lose the Leia, but then but I'm still doing 3 damage, and I think I end up moving to block. And I put, oh, that's what it is. I don't care about blocking. It's just 2 damage, and then I'm going to be doing two more on the ground. And I found that it could be worse again to reduce that damage. And he puts a Lord Maul in front of me to block. And then I have Antilles Maneuver, so we can't even swing. Draw the 4. and draws a 4. And he concedes after that. So game one, I take down hidden base. I win a hidden base game without a Luke, so I'm proud of myself there. Let's go to the next game, which is my first game of Watto. And I am like, I'm seeing the Haas system coming out. And I think once I see everything, I realize I'm probably playing against EBO. Uh, East Spangler is a local guy who loves his EBO, and so I figured he must have just pulled it out of a pack, and he's like, I'm going to go for it. Totally not a deck I try and build in a 45 card format because it can be very slow and it's going to take you a while to set up. And so I'm like, well, I'm just going to do a bunch of damage. I mean, it usually takes a couple turns to set up EVO. So what's the I'm just and I don't have a Watto in hand, but I can pull it from reserve deck. And then I'm also seeing the Cad Bane with a gun at the down the ground. Um, I force pushed because I knew that the bridge was in there, and that's a really great card to get out. And so force push for that. There's almost never going to be a better opportunity to get better value. And then I throw down the pit, and I think I throw down Cad with a gun. Um, and so now I flip the objective, going to be doing 2 damage. I'm very low on cards at this point, and I think it'd be I don't know if I'd want to do that against any other deck but EBO, so I do move everybody over and draw a couple cards just to keep Watto safe. Not quite sure what I'm up against yet. But use wipe, I am going to have You'll Be Dead damage coming next turn, which is great. And so he's doing, it appears to be doing, EBO things. And then fortunately I have another card I can put down next turn to do the 2 damage from Watto. And so I see 3 and then a first turn EBO, which is not what I was expecting. And now I'm getting a little concerned at this point because EBO does drains are all +2 at systems, and with no resistance to cap that or anything like that, like the drains are going to get heavy very fast. So I think I realized pretty quickly I'm in a drain race. So I'm doing damage, I'm draining. He also did not save force, so I know I'll be able to put a card down and he'll have to lose 2 more force. So I'm really stacking the damage quickly, but I'm already kind of worried that if he can get more ships to space, what's going to happen to me. So I'm just thinking I need to go very fast, and I'm already in kind of like force conservation mode. But finding a barrier is helpful though, because if he does put someone down on me, I did go pretty light, and I saw an EPP in hand and things like that. So but yeah, so the drains of 3 are coming in now, hot and heavy. So I'm going to be probably pitching from hand on things I don't expect to need. But there comes the barrier on the Luke. This is that Luke Skywalker Rebel Scout. Again, a very troublesome immunity main, and then has some additional weapons text. So this is something I'm probably going to have to deal with. He did save 2 force this time. So I can't just bluff a card, because if he decides to let me lose it for free, then I will lose force. But I do have multiple cards that I can bluff, and he decides to lose anyway. But then I think I stack this site pretty hard. And then there's that crummy Naboo blaster, but I think I flip-flop my characters with guns, because now I have Cad, who draws if unable to, and keeps your from satisfying attrition. So I do stack that site pretty hard. Now I also have an alien that I could target with Jabba. I could make him power +1. So I think the site is pretty strong, but he is now going quite heavy. He is spreading hard in space. And so again, I know that we're on a clock, but he does not. He draws all his cards up, does not battle. He also does not save any cards, so I can put a little more damage on him. And I do have a Mara Jade in hand, so this I think is I could battle him pretty hard here. Losing force. Now he's only down to 6 life force, 6 cards down. So, but I do know that I'm on a very, very short clock, because I'm facing drainage of 9 in space from those drains at the systems. So I do have to kind of drain him out of the ground. But I am trying to target these characters and get rid of all the other ones. I mean, it's hard to hit Luke, which turns out I would have hit Luke, but you can't count on that with these kinds of Destiny. I think he goes for the Destiny cancel here. He does, but I don't think he draws very well. Draws a 3. I could just lose this little Mumpty 2 drop, and then I've stacked his site, and he's got to do something about his Luke. And he's losing 2 characters. So again, though, I realize I'm facing a drain at 9 next turn, and so gonna have to do something about that. I think I just keep losing some cards from hand, but still keeping enough in hand to threaten damage the following turn. Because I'll also be putting through a fair amount of damage next turn on my own terms. But yeah, drains a 3, 3, and 3. Kind of silly stuff, but it's a little different. It's kind of fun. And so he puts a bunch of characters back down again. Does not save any force. But also I know I can keep pulling that chance cube out, bluffing it, and making him lose force again. And so drain of 1, ping of 1. He's getting very close to being fully damaged out. And I think I do battle into him anyway because that Moff Gideon does great stuff to all those rebels' power. I thought I can get a power differential thing going here and kill a couple characters. So swing, die Bodhi. And fortunately, I don't have a bounty hunter to cancel Luke's immunity, but I think he ends up being forced to forfeited due to the power differential. Draws a 2. So I lose the Gideon, not helpful anymore. And then, yeah, he's down 6, so he has to lose in space or give up the system. So I do have lethal on him for next turn, but I am going to take drain to 9 right here. But he just is the gentleman and just passes through. So get a second win. Watto against a first turn EBO. It was kind of wild and kind of silly, but it also was a little bit of fun. So I'm going to go to the next one, which is Hidden Base against Hunt Down. Classic matchup. And so, I think I'm gonna be seeing damage coming in hot and heavy from Visage, but I'm gonna have to find a way to weather that and start canceling those drains. This was the first kind of thing that was a little weird. Was this guy started, or unfortunate luck, he started coarse and rough and irritating and stacked the Mustafar Castle and Vader's lightsaber on it. So I knew that the ability for him to do a lot of damage early was going to be limited. But I'm going to pull my cards out for strike planning. Just do it now. I wonder if I end up pitching any of these to the Visage drains, because I know I'm going to start taking damage right away. But I do have one system in hand, and I could just start building my hand kind of slowly, getting those systems out. Do have a Falcon in hand, so I can flash that for something later. And then the Mon Mothma, which is kind of helpful. So all my systems are in reserve. And so just draw again. And again, I will have to lose from hand since I can't risk top decking a system. And so he force pushes, then draws. I think one thing he's struggling with is probably trying to find a space. He doesn't have a battleground site. I think I asked him later. I don't think he had a battleground site in the entire deck. Just kind of a choice he made. And let's see. So then I get Millennium Falcon down. Again, I still don't know what he force pushed for. So I think I'm expecting that maybe it's a ship, but I had to hopefully get lucky that I didn't I'd want to draw my Nar Shaddaa. Otherwise, I have to pull it next turn. But one thing I am thinking about is I do have Antilles Maneuver in hand because this ship doesn't draw on its own. Lando doesn't draw on his own. So I do have a couple of 2-drop characters, like a Wedge, I think is if I really need that. So I draw, lose to Visage. But again, I didn't see him what he force push for. So I'm thinking it might be a ship, and he saved a lot. And sure enough, there was a ship. Mara's ship, which is not great for me, but I do get a Wedge on board, really high forfeit character, and now I'm drawing a Battle Destiny here. So Mara's ship comes down again, and then he's got an Imperial on there too. So now he's drawing two Destinies. So I think he's really hoping he can crack me out of all this. And he draws a 2 and a 1. So he actually doesn't. This is immune lesson 5 with Lando piloting. So now I also draw terrible too. So I do win the battle. He has to lose a force, but he's also immune. He can't stare that down again, so he does move, um, probably to start probing the system. But I've not flipped yet, and so get a couple characters down, put down Nar Shaddaa, and then I believe I do flip after this. I do flip. So then I'll cancel that drain. He's going to start probing, and then he just draws. And then I use the it could be worse for the Visage ping itself. One of the things I recognized was that I can use it could be worse and a new secret base so I know this is the second card down. I don't hope I do it this turn. If not, I'm disappointed in myself. But then I can pull that back into hand the following turn. But instead I get a little greedy and I just turn off Visage, which I don't know if that was a mistake because it was hurting him as much as it was hurting me. But I did decide to drop two characters down, one with a weapon to back that up and maybe force some action out of him. And so cancel the drain. And here comes a Lord Vader, which again, no saber, but and then I draw a 2 and a 7, which was actually going to shoot Vader, but he had the close call for it. So and then I missed that shot. I think if I just shoot him there, I think the game is basically over. Because again, this is a immune lesson 6 character who's now going to have a saber. So it's less good for me there. That's why I'm thinking I might have been too greedy by making that move. I don't have a Hoojix in the deck, so and so again I'm draining. Oh, I do not do. Oh, I do the it could be worse thing here, I believe. Did not. Okay. It's soon. It's coming. And so then, but I do have to back up that Blount. And then he flipped quick. So I was canceling damage, but he found the hidden base pretty quick. And so now all of a sudden I'm finding myself kind of behind on life force. But and then I made a mistake. I wanted to put Malos down and put a card down, but then I realized he couldn't move. So my opponent was gracious enough to let me do that after I had moved. And so, because I'm going to have to move away from Vader. Which I know he's going to be following me now, but I think the other thing I'm trying to set up is I have an X-Wing with a laser cannon, and so I would be able to shoot down Mara's ship if I can set up a good Destiny to make sure I get that. And have enough force save. But I'm already down to 11 cards, so my chance to do this is going to be somewhat limited. And so then he drops down the Chimera in front of me. I think he moves over to chase. And so I think this is where I went for it. I think I put the 7 down just now with Malos, which would make sense because I saved or maybe I'll check. Oh no, I'll draw a card. No, the 7's on the bottom. Oh, I have a 5/7, so I know that I'll hit. And so then I put the laser cannons on, and I think I just poof out the Mars ship. So I got him, and he pulls another card off, of course, and I do draw enough. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be doing overflow because I think the ship forfeits for a bunch, but oh, I do one. Now I did a lot to make this move, and I also have 6 cards of this system right here. Including an X-Wing laser cannon. And yes, I got rid of the ship. I'll tell you what, when I did this, I thought for sure I'd immediately won the game. But then I didn't know what he had in hand. And the other thing is I used all my force to do this. I can't move away Blount and Malos. So I'm probably going to get one of them killed off and lose the other one to Battle Destiny. And so but I do spread my characters or spread my ships out to do some more damage. But I do play Antilles maneuver, expect to get battled, but then make him use a force for it. And so yeah, looking back, I do wonder if going to ground was a mistake. But then I don't think I'm going to take any damage. I think I had some good decies down, and so I shuffled it all up because if I draw 6, I can kill Vader, and I have a couple floating around in there, and I do not. But that's okay. I don't take over, or I do take some overflow. But now Vader's stuck at a non-battleground, seemingly doing nothing, and I'll be draining for a bunch here. And then I think I put another ship down, not expecting him to have much more. And so he force drains there, which puts his hunt down objective out of play, which sometimes that was beneficial here. So he does put the conquest down against my character, and he's got Thrawn down there. So this is pretty good for him. I do drain again. I think I draw again, and I got the 5s. And now I put a 7 down at the bottom of my reserve deck. But now I do think I want to stack this side. I don't want to be giving up drains at 2. I was hoping to do enough to at least kill the Thrawn, which I do, and he draws a 2, so he does not draw well. So he's still got the ship there. And he's got a battle destiny of 6, which gets rid of the Lando. And then now I stack this system here. And there we go. There I found that it could be worse. And save 2 save for the damage there. So I use that, and now I know that I can loop that the following turns, assuming I can drain. So this is actually an interesting little thing here. So I'm sitting here at the system thinking he can't draw Battle Destiny because this Mara's not a pilot, and this is so you only have ability 2 at the system. And as we find out, he does not draw. But now I know where a 7's at, so I'm going to drain. Get the It Could Be Worse back. Oh no, this is actually the card I put down. So I know I don't have a great Destiny down there, but I think it's just going to kill Mara, and he doesn't draw up there, at least I think. So he actually uses the text on the meditation chamber. You can have Vader there to apply your battle destiny at any system. I don't know if he knew that, but it was a cool little feature. So I decided to spin for that, make him lose a force because I am still up by a bunch, and I think I just need to grind him out of cards. He draws a 0. I draw a 1. He makes a 0, so I actually don't have to lose anything, but he is down in power, so he might choose to lose the Mara. He decides to keep the Mara, and now I'm sitting here, and then I'm going to take that drain again. So it could be worse to drain until he's maneuver. So now I have a 5 and a 4. He doesn't battle, but I know I have a 5 down. And so again, I think I'm just going to try and chip away at this and get some damage in. So I do that, but still not enough to get rid of the ship, and I don't want to flee a Drain 2 system. I want to stand on it and make him do it. But we are getting really tight on life force, but this is where I realize I can mitigate all this damage on the ground if I can do this. I don't have enough to battle there, but eventually going to make him oh, he battles into me. And I was thinking, oh, hopefully I just don't take enough damage. I can just lose the ship, which is what happened. And now I got another drain. Found that could be worse. And then I think I'm going to speed this up a little bit because it's just a little bit I could be worsing drains. I do know now that I have a 1 down there, which he does again. But so now I do have to kind of move away because he only has 2 cards left. And so I just need to do a couple of rounds of damage, and that'll be enough. Know it's getting very tight, but then I can drain, get the I could be worse again, drain 1 more time, and I'm going to lose for the drain. And then he moves in front of me to block. So I just move over here and he can't contest me. So he'll drain me for 1 there, get drained for 1 at the chamber, but now I have enough to drain him out and win the game. So won a really weird hunt down hidden base game that 100% hinged on the ability of using I could be worse to really draw out the game. I definitely didn't play this one well. I made some poor decisions that, but being able to take off all the damage that could be worse really, really saved me. Okay, and then now I run into Sir Batmouse, um, and let's see, I run out Watto again. But I kind of know I'm in trouble because he's starting agents in the court, which means he's also going to want to play on Tatooine. So I pull out my normal start here, and then he goes Insurrection, Strike Planning, and draw their fire. This is really bad because, with Watto, you have to stand there and you got to take those hits. And so he's just going to be able to, even if he can't draw Battle Destiny, he's just going to be throwing characters at me. So I know this is a real uphill thing, but I have to, I have to put my characters down. So I again get the Watto first turn, and I think I put down the Barrack. So I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I can do some damage, um, but I am afraid of what he's got in his deck. So with no backup, I do move the 2 characters over and draw a bunch of cards. P59 is encouraging, and so is the Mara. I could probably clear stuff out, but then he gets the Jedi Council Chamber, and with Han with heavy blaster pistol. And so, again, as a reminder here, you can't draw, with very few exceptions, you can't draw Battle Destiny here as a light side player, but there are cards that draw if unable to, and weapons are never great. So I think what he's trying to do is just, he can't draw Battle Destiny, but if he could just shoot Watto, and he's draw their firing, it's going to really help him a bunch. So this is where the draw their fire stuff happens. And he misses, unfortunately for him. So Watto gets to live another day. So I draw Destiny, he does not. And so my characters are going to live, but I kind of wonder if this is going to be happening again. So get my Drain on 1 in. Also, I did not find a pistol for You'll Be Dead damage, but that's fine. It happens sometimes. And so he does let me deploy a character for free. And kind of wonder if maybe I shouldn't have left P59 alone. But I do have a Gick and the general. And then this is a miserable card for me, is the Ahsoka Tano. Immune to permanent weapons and then effectively immune less than 6. Really, really hard card to deal with in this format. And so now he's going to start retrieving a bunch. And I think he's just going to start tilting the math. But maybe I get lucky. Maybe I hit Leia. I do not. And now I'm just way behind. I don't think I even draw enough to clear either of them. So that site's going to be really, really hard to contest. Watto flips back, and I have to use the Gick right now. So then, but yeah, I kind of just got a little bit of an awkward start here. I am draining, and then I probably do drop down another character to do damage, but I drop down the Jabba, do more damage, but compared to the previous game, this is not. And so I decide that I need to move away. I got the 2 damage down, but I need to move to his site, his Drain 2 site. That way, I'm not necessarily just getting battled into. And so, oh, and then there's Solo who draws if unable to, and Poe. So he is coming after me, which is the right move. You don't let me sit. But as you can see, he's just retrieving so many cards now. And again, with no aim high out here, you're just doing it all for free. So shields giveth and shields taketh away. I've certainly been benefiting from not having battle order out, and so just not having a virtual shield, it happens. So I do decide to get the Veers back, and then he's just going to stack the junkyard. So I am getting drains in, but then I think I do have to abandon the junkyard now. Oh, I think I want to get a little more damage in because I know I just have to push damage. And I think I want to get damage in and then maybe hope for the clear on Leia. And I don't get it. This is what I was saying. The immunity mains are very tough in this format, and I'm seeing it for myself right here. So I have gotten a fair amount of damage in, but now he's taken over both of my sites, which are drained to 2, and so I have to flee that, and I really don't have anywhere to go. I'm drain a 1 here and drain a 2 here, but he might very well just battle into me again. And there's an Anakin. So yeah, I'm just losing more force to draw their fire and retrieval. Two things of retrieval from draw their fire and Leia. So that's just any character that can draw destiny, you can just drop down and just churn that out. Okay. So I'm ahead in life force right now, but I'm not ahead on board state at all because my damage is reduced substantially. And then with this solo here that draws and if unable to, I can't even put a Watto down there and keep them from drawing destiny. But I do realize I need to try and block that drain. I find a barrier, which could be helpful leaving that Kier alone. Maybe I can bait something. So I lose the 2. I lose the Watto, not expecting it to be helpful this game. Get another drain there. I do have a Dr. Chelly in hand, so I think I'm going to be trying to set that over to the JCC. I barrier the Sabine. I think another character comes down. Oh, the Luke. So Luke with me with no force saved. So yeah, I know I'm in big trouble. He might be clearing me out actually. Oh, he does not clear because he doesn't draw very well. And I do draw 5, so it does get one. It'll get one of them, probably the Leia. And I do know where a 5 is. I wonder if I use that to go back after the Luke. And then I put the Chelly down, retrieve the P-59 into hand, stack the Gent in there. Oh, and P-59 there too. And so I know I can get a couple of good battles in, but I know that I'm behind for sure. And then that Chelly is just asking to get jumped. But I think I know I have a 3-5 here. Oh, 3-2. I think the 5 is the next card though, and so I can use that with P-59 to do some battle damage. But I did get another first strike ping in there. But yeah, Luke is immune. Battling again. And boom, Anakin. So it does keep his forfeit, which I don't think matters because doesn't make you forfeit 0. Probably not drawing enough to clear him out, but maybe he'll lose him and Sabine, depending on what he's got in his hand. Okay, he does not draw well, and so I am starting to think, well, maybe I got something here. Of course, now I have no protection down at the JCC, and I'm sure he's got someone to come after me. And I'm taking drains. I'm taking drains of 4. So I have the white flag like halfway up at this point. Especially if you can get someone to come with me. Oh, and then he finds I feel the conflict. So another stack for winning battles. And General Kraken draws on his own, so he's killing Chelly, and I'm taking at least 2 damage, a retrieval, and then I will be taking damage for I feel the conflict. I think I'm also at a risk for overflow here, which fortunately doesn't happen because the Chelly covers 6 total, but I am losing another stack. So he just had this beastly build to just kind of attack into people. Um, good job for Batmouse here. So I drain for 1, and then I put the Blizzard down. I'm not drawing there. I think I just want to do some more force loss. Not expecting to get overflowed, but I do take a loss for I feel the conflict. So I do block the drain here. Take another 2 drains at the junkyard, and there's a Daughter of Skywalker. This is just all bad. And I missed the shot. And I draw the 0. I think that's when I scoop. um, I do scoop after that. So Batmouse had a really good game plan. I'm guessing Draw Their Fire was an alt start for him, but he played it to perfection. Just keep battling into my guys with good characters. So here I am at 3-1. Let's see what we got going on. So I do flip back around and play Batmouse again. He's playing Carbon Chamber Testing. So I'm thinking there's going to be like the IG-88 force pile stuff, which is a good way to go after hidden base, since you can pull your ships out of hand and things like that. And he's gonna have his own drain 2 at the carbonite chamber, and then he gets Kuat drive yards out. So this is like Batmouse is just like he hit the dream. He loves his Kuat drive yards. He loves his pulling systems and getting his ships to draw if unable to. So he does get the IG-88 down, and he's going to start tunneling. And I'm going to get out my systems as fast as I can to start, because I'm sure he's going to move over. And so I don't, oh, and I had to draw to find my Endor. And so I know that's in there now. And he's going to move Asajj over to, I assume, move over IG and back that up. And I do have the Tantive in hand, so I can get a ship out. And now my flip is live. So I got Wedge and Mon Mothma on the ship. Mon Mothma, of course, is kind of a forfeit fodder type thing. But I do have some characters in here now. And so I could probably do something about that carbonite drain after a while. I do play all wings to find a falcon. And then I can cancel the drain at the carbonite chamber. And now he's got a conquest coming down, which I don't think he battles. He just moves away. So now I drain for 1, draw a card. I do like this Antilles maneuver here, because if I ever do come down and contest him, he's got a couple weapons here that I can maybe stop the weapon swings. Or maybe I play it in advance to get a 5 down. And so I decide to go after the conquest. I don't know how many ships he's got in hand, but I want to, if I can kill that, maybe he can keep from probing systems. So he does sneak attack, so he's probably stuck something good. I drew a 5, and he close calls it, which is rude. And he draws a 6 on top. So, um, yeah, I have to lose 2 things here. Not a great spot. I do fly away. I was hoping to crack that conquest out of space, but Batmouse had that close call and stacking the sneak attack, which is very clever. But I am not going to be taking any damage. I can cancel both these drains at the systems and on the ground. I don't think he even bothers draining. And I have another Avenger. I have an Avenger coming down now too. And so, oh, and then there's our friend Colo Clawfish, which is a staple of these draft events. Usually really tilts the odds in your favor if you get it, because you can just set up destinies a lot easier when you need to. But I do luck out and draw the 7 here, which is going to be incredibly helpful going forward. because I do get around to tracking it. And so I drain, but I do think he's at my hidden base, so I don't think I'm going to be able to cancel any more drains. But I do get Obi down. Um, I believe that I think I have enough to hit Asajj, and I have a 5 on the bottom to kill IG. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I do put the Ezra down, so hopefully I can just lose one character. I do Antilles maneuver at this time, and I'm not going to swing at IG because you can just cancel the weapon destiny. But I draw 1. Oh, and then there's the 7 again. And then I have a 5 on the bottom, I'm pretty sure. Else I wouldn't have done this. Does swing at Obi. I do play the dodge to make sure that he doesn't hit him because I wouldn't want to leave Ezra there. Or Ezra's not immune, so good chance I might lose them both. And I want a character there to release the captive and flip him. And he's doing Colo Clawfish things. And he draws that 6 again. Oh, it's still the weapon destiny. But now he's got 6 stacked. So I'm going to draw a destiny, which is a 5. Draws the 3, but I think he's going to flip it to a 6. So I do need to lose the Obi there because the other one doesn't cover. But then I do release the captive, place him out of play, so it turns off like the despair stuff and keeps the IG, if you had a way of getting IG back. Now I move to block. Now I am a little vulnerable here because Ezra's not a great character. He does draw on his own, but I do have the Warrior's Courage to add 1 Battle Destiny, so I'm less worried about overflow. And then he's doing Colo Clawfish things. But I do get 2 destiny, and I do draw 6 and something else, so I know I'm not gonna take too much. I'm not gonna take any damage. And I did kill them all for an Ezra, so that seems good. And the Jabba's prize is free, so he does move away on that, and draws a couple of cards. And then I go Kenobi to the Carbonite Chamber, just to force through a drain of 2. And stack my ship and then move in front because I want to stop any of the damage because he is ahead on life force count quite a bit. And so he finds the Vader, which is quite bad for me. It's a great pilot and he can subtract from the ships. So he does battle me, and then I think I just want to shuffle my deck. He hits a 4, and I draw 1. But he didn't subtract because he knows things are immune. But he's very weak at the Carbonite Chamber. And so I think I'm sending a character down after him. So I'm going to battle twice, get some retrieval going, make him subtract. He draws a 2 as well, so I'm going to have to lose a character. But I battle again, and I'm retrieving 2 since I'm initiating against a first order character. I had the blaster deflection for the Ortug swing, which I didn't want to take any chances on. And I have a 5. And he draws a 3, which doesn't kill either of my characters. And so, but he clears, and then I'm just going to move that away. I do have an I could be worse for the drain. And so I think that's what I use here. I use 1 force for it. So he pulls a system out, I think just to get that out. And he puts another character down, another card down, and moves over. But I will be draining him for 2 at the Carbonite Chamber. And then I decide to spread with Tuaska and the 5s to the 2 Cloud City sites. Bad Mouse only has 3 cards in hand. Didn't think he's going to have a ton to contest that, but I did go really light, and I think he nearly punishes me for it. But I think I didn't have a way of really contesting him in space, so I'm setting up drains of 7 on the ground. And I know he'll probably be able to deal with some of it, but probably not all of it. Unfortunately, I forgot about the Jabba's Palace tech, so he's able to deploy Mara Jade with Lightsaber over there, and then he is able to set up a couple battles with me. So he draws the 2. And then I draw the 7, and this is where it really turns because I'm low enough now that I could just be tracking that around and draw 7 every time if I want to, because it's on the bottom of my deck. So he's going to kill 5s, but I don't take any battle damage, and he committed another character to the ground. And so now I have that 7 on the bottom. Drain for 2, drain for 2. So I am doing a lot of damage to him. And I think I come down with this. Oh, I draw the 7 in space to kill the ship. He draws a 3, which is just going to take out Wedge. And so now I do have a naked ship, but he has very few cards in hand, and I'm at my own drain 2 system. And so I do have to be a little concerned about what he's putting down at the audience chamber if he's got another way of dealing with this. But if I can get through there without taking any overflow or make him commit more, then I am doing drains of 6 now. And so he is going to swing. And he, I think, gets it. Which again, I'm not super concerned about. I'm up in power. And so he stun blasters me back to hand. So I am down a little bit, but I think I draw fine. Oh, of course, I have the 7 there again. So he's got to lose that again. And again, I have drains of 6 going down now next turn. And he concedes after that because I'll get him in a couple rounds of drains. So uh, that was my 5th game. I'm 4-1 now. I am tied on the top of the leaderboard, and so the 6th game is going to really determine who takes it home. So I get Watto against City in the Clouds. Not sure what I'm expecting out of City in the Clouds, but I know that I'm going to go really fast with Watto. He's going to have to set up his own little things at Cloud City, and so I'm going to just go real fast. It's been helpful so far, and that's how I'm going to try and do it. A pretty standard start. The one thing that I do like though is I found a barrier in my opening hand, and so it allows me to go a little more aggressive. I could drop Watto, probably the Commander Desan to the other site, do 2 quick things of damage, but then I do have the barrier in hand if he decides to come after me. And so I'll do that Watto damage, throw the chance cube back. And so I am getting low on cards, but I am just getting my damage set up. So I do leave them apart because of the barrier. He's only activating 7, so how much can he really put after me? And then I do find a gun, which is going to be helpful for the You'll Be Dead damage. So activate 1, so my barrier's live. He's putting his sights out. And I'm wondering if he's going to come after me. And he does. So I do not barrier him because I know that he can't draw Destiny there. And so once he realizes that, I offer him a revert because he forgot about the Jabba's text or the Junkyard's text. So he does come down against me. He's barriered now. And he's got only other 3 cards, so he seems unlikely to back that up. And I'm activating 10 next turn with an EPP in hand. So I think I'm going to be coming after him pretty hard. Because Ezra is a little fragile, doesn't have a lot of power, and so I get the job of the hut out for free, the Cad Bane, and now that's to set up kind of the You'll Be Dead damage. I could double his power, so there's a big power differential going on, and he does draw, but probably not enough to kill more than the Commander Dasan. And so that's what happens, but he is down in power, and most people don't have Hoochicks in this deck, so he did have to peel a bunch. So I moved Jabba over with Watto because Cad draws on his own and just pass turn. And then here comes a Qui-Gon Jinn, which is no one that you really want to see. Kind of surprised we didn't see him at the junkyard to slice up Watto, but I think he was trying to just get a beat in. He actually misses though, unfortunately, because he draws a sight. And so I am very happy to just trade these guys out. Even doesn't matter what I draw, I'm going to kill Qui-Gon. And so it's fortunate to lose the blaster ping. Feels like a waste to put that card down, but you know, I did force him to come after me and commit more to the board. I'll drain for 1, and then I'll be able to do Watto damage next turn if he chooses to pay the force or not. If not, I'm just going to get a big card out. Lets me deploy the Probot, and so now I have 4 cards at those sites. I do want to be careful of putting out too many cards after this, but you don't just want to be putting cards down to protect a drain of 1. He doesn't have a whole lot of cards in hand, and now he decides to go to space, which I am fine with because my deck's in a different place than his is now, just because of the damage I got going. He was not able to save enough for Watto, and so he's going to take another 2 damage. And I can lose whatever card I can put whatever card I want on the bottom of my force pile. And I think I just draw another card and that's it. No need to put more in my hand right now until he does something about it. And now he goes with more cards to space. I think he's probably looking for an answer on the ground. Hasn't been able to find it yet. And so do more damage. And then I put a card down. He's going to let me deploy it, and so I just go to his site because I don't want to put any more over there. So now I do have that blaster down. That again, that's mostly for You'll Be Dead damage. Feels a little greedy, but I just want to kind of end this quickly. He does throw Watto back, which lets me retrieve a bunch of force. But unfortunately, I have a couple of Wattos in hand already that he's not aware of, but he probably expected at some point. And so I think I come right back down. Oh, I was going to come back down. I told him I got another Watto, 2 more Wattos, and he conceded after that. So he knew that was kind of not going his way. So I finished the event 5-1. That was enough for first place. And so just kind of want to show you guys these events because maybe you're looking for something for your next league event, and if you want something that's a little more blend of draft and sealed, like maybe this is something for you. So thank you guys for watching the video and have a great rest of your day. Take care.